respected Registrar Dr. Yashwant Singh sir, and or my colleagues, Dr. Ranveer Singh, Dr. Achna Kumari, and head of the departments from mass media, mathematics, and all my colleagues, the chief medical officer, scholars, and officers from the university administration, scholars and students. Today we have gathered for a lecture, UGC special lecture on democratic ideals and institutions of the Sikhs. This lecture is being sponsored by the University Grand Commission based on the theme identified and shared by the Indian Council of Historical Research. The theme is Bharat Loktantra ki Janani. The democracy, as we all know, democracy, it's a Western concept, and it has the concept as rooted in the Western politics. But contrary to that, what we haven't studied or we haven't heard about the democracy, where the roots, the Indian traditions, particularly the Indic traditions, has the roots of the democracy. So today we will be hearing from the eminent speaker, Dr. Mohinder Singh, Professor and Director, National Institute of Panjab Studies, New Delhi. On behalf of Central University of Jammu, I welcome you, sir, to join this special lecture through online mode. Thank you very much for joining us, sir, today. We would have had you here in an in-person lecture, but due to time constraint, we are having it in the online. Now I request my colleague Dr. Ranveer Singh to introduce the speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Jagat. Dr. Mohinder Singh is Professor and Director at National Institute of Punjab Studies at YV Singh Sahitya Southern New Delhi. He was earlier also served as a Director of Guru Nanak Foundation, and he was also member of National Commission for Minority Education Institutions, Government of India. He is also Professor of Eminence in the Department of Punjab Historical Studies, Punjab University, Panjab. Dr. Singh has lectured on Sikh studies at several Indian and foreign universities and has been visiting professor on Sikhism in the Department of Global Studies, University of California, Santa Barbara, United States. In 1964, Dr. Singh was awarded fellowship by Indian Council of Historical Research to carry on his research on Akali movements in the United Kingdom, which later earned him his doctorate. And he also authored several books on Sikh history and religion, and most of which they were launched at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Dr. Singh also sit on the advisory boards of several national and international organizations. Just because we are really missing the opportunity to hearing Dr. Singh in offline mode with us, but I hope that we will just utilize this time very well while just listening his views on today's topic through online. I formally welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ranveer. I just briefly introduce about the university. The Central University of Jammu was established with the Act of Parliament 2009, and we have had the campus, the original campus, in district Samba, which is 20 kilometers away from the city, Jammu city, and we have more than 25 departments: social sciences, humanities, languages, engineering, and management studies. We do have a department on comparative religion and philosophy studies, and we have students coming from all over the country. So we have a diverse pool of students and also faculty members from scholars across the country. So with these remarks, over to you, sir.
The registrar of the university, other officers, fellow teachers, students, and friends who have joined us online. As you know, this is a part of the larger program of the Government of India, India, mother of all democracies. At this time, when I'm talking to you, this book for which I wrote a chapter is being released by the Minister for Education. But as I'd given you the promise of talking to you 3 p.m. today, I had to cancel that book release function next door. So I'm grateful to all of you for inviting me and listening to me. As I was introduced. I'm a student of Sikh history. Therefore, this afternoon, I like to share with you some of the ideas highlighting democratic ideals and institutions of the Sikh community. Now, democratic ideals and institutions are deeply rooted in the Indian soil. Almost a century before the French Revolution gave the slogans of liberty, equality, and fraternity, Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh Guru, had already implemented these ideals with the creation of the Khalsa in Anandpur in 1699. As we know, the Guru appeared before the gathering carrying an unsheathed sword in his hand and asked, and quote, "Is there a Sikh amongst you who is prepared to offer his head to the Guru as a sacrifice?" There was complete commotion and silence. The Guru repeated the call, and Dayaram, Khatri deputy from Lahore, came forward to offer his head. The Guru took him to a nearby enclosure, and he returned with the sword dripping with blood and asked for another head. At this, Dharamdas, a Jat from Astinapur, quite near Delhi, came forward and was similarly taken to the enclosure. When the Guru asked for more heads, Hokam Chand, a washerman from Dwarka, that's in Gujarat, Himmat Rai, a water carrier from Jagannath Puri in Orissa, and Sahib Chand, a barber from Bidar, Karnataka, came forward. My friends, just imagine who talk of national integration. In those days, 350 years back, the Guru created a national integration by inviting people from different parts of India and from different castes, so called low castes also. These all five people were taken inside the enclosure one after the other. To the surprise of assembled audience, the Guru returned with all five Sikhs dressed in saffron clothes, with neatly tied turbans and bearing kirpans and other symbols of the Khalsa prescribed by the Guru. People might be wondering whether the Guru was beheading them. No, he was not. He was just testing their loyalty and their devotion and their ability to sacrifice. That is important. Now, earlier there was a tradition of converting people by charan paul, that is the water sanctified with the touch of Guru's feet. That means you get attached to a personal Guru. Guru Gobind Singh changed this idea and now he baptized these five people with Khande Ki Paul, the water sanctified with the double-edged sword. Sword is symbol of Shakti. He also gave them new name, the surname of Singh, meaning lion, and called them Panj Pyare, the five beloved ones, whom all Sikhs remember in the daily Sikh prayer. Because of their devotion, loyalty to the Guru, the five beloved ones are remembered. By making all of them drink Pahul, Pahul is the sanctified water, from the same bowl, the Guru abolished the distinction of caste and creed. He also set a unique democratic example of equality by himself drinking pahul from the same bowl at the hand of the five beloved ones, and thus from Gobind Rai he became Gobind Singh. Can you imagine? Normally we talk of lower caste and upper caste. The Guru himself was a Sodhi, so-called upper caste, but he drank from the same bowl which the so-called lower caste devotees had drank. Another example of democratic practice was the Guru declaring that when it comes to taking vital decision on community matters, the followers will have an upper hand in deciding the issue. He says, Guru 20 biswe, Sangat 21 biswe. That is, the Guru will have 20 votes, while the followers have 21 vote. That means they will have the casting vote. The majority decision will be that of the followers, not of the Guru. That's a great democratic tradition that the Sikh community got from Guru Gobind Singh. Historically speaking, development of democratic ideals and institutions of the Sikhs began with Guru Nanak himself establishing the institution of Dharamsal. Dharamsal is the name given to the Gurdwara, earlier Gurdwara. Dharamsal means a place where dharma, the right values, could be practiced in daily life. These early Sikh institutions played a vital role in shaping the course of events of over 5 century history of the Sikhs and in the development of the Sikh religious tradition. There are three important things in Sikhism: the Guru, the Granth, and the Gurdwara. Gurdwara has traditionally been center of religious, social, cultural, and political life of the Gurus. Gurdwaras also served as centers of religious activity, social and moral instruction, and providing food or shelter to the poor and needy. Now, you imagine wherever you go, whether it's a small city or a big city, you always find a Gurdwara, and the important thing in the Gurdwara is they serve free meals langar to all who are visitors. No distinction is made of rich and the poor, high and the low. As the unity of Godhead and brother of mankind were the basic tenets of the faith of Guru Nanak, special attention was paid by him to the establishment of the twin institutions of Sangat and Pangat to translate his teachings into practice and to do away with the distinctions of caste, color, and creed. Guru Nanak left behind a Sangat wherever he went with the instruction to build a Dharamsal, that is the Gurdwara, for the purpose of meeting in common forum. These two institutions thus became Guru Nanak's laboratories for both the demonstration and the practice of his teachings. Now, this is very interesting. Guru put in daily life practice what are we taught, that is, equality was practiced. When you enter the Gurdwara, nobody asks your caste, your religion, your color. When you sit in the Pangat, that is in the line in the Gurdwara, or eating food, nobody discriminates. It was in these Gurdwaras that the Sikhs met daily in the morning and the evening and listened to the teaching of the Gurus and recital of the hymns composed by the Guru. That is I'm talking about the times of Guru Nanak. Now things have changed. Gurus are not with us, but we have a Guru Granth Sahib, we have loudspeaker, we have other facilities. Now, interesting thing is, if you watch the travels of Guru Nanak, he visited almost all places of religious importance in India. Religious importance for the Hindu community, which is a majority, Hardwar, Varanasi, Buddhist monks, Jain monks, Muslim saints, and all others. So, what was the purpose? The purpose was to enter into a dialogue. Now, Guru Nanak said, if you are entering into dialogue, you should be open minded. If you already decided that my religion is superior, then no dialogue is possible. So he emphasized, and there's a very interesting line by Guru Nanak: जब लग दुनिया रही है नानक किच सुनिए किच कहिए or Nanak, so long as we live in this world, we should listen to the others first before uttering our own. That is the beauty. Now, Guru Nanak or maybe his followers are not supposed to impose their religion on others. They have to listen to the others and then, if need be, explain their own faith. After completing his long spiritual journeys, they are called Udasis, throughout the Indian subcontinent, Guru Nanak made Saidpur his last halt. It was at that time that Babur was invading India. This invasion caused much death and destruction. The Guru condemned the atrocities committed by the invading army of Babur, which is included in the Guru Granth Sahib as Baburwani. And he even complained to the God. He says, "You are God of everyone. Why you are not punishing the culprit? Why the innocent people are being harassed and looted by the invading army?" From Saidpur, the Guru Nanak went to Talwandi, where he was born, and stayed there for a little while. Then he left again for traveling through Lahore with a companion called Pai Mardana. Interestingly, Guru Nanak made a very right choice. First, who was his companion? A Muslim from a low caste, Mirasi. Mirasis are the bards, hymn singers, who were considered low. Guru Nanak said no. When he called Mardana, Bhai is a brother. So Mardana, the so-called low caste Marasi, and Guru Nanak, the so-called high caste Vedi, they become equal. That is, they are brothers. It was during his travels that Guru Nanak came across a beautiful spot on the right bank of river Ravi and decided to settle down and create a mini town. Here, Mardana played on the rebab. Guru Nanak's hymns were sung, and the fragrance of Guru's divinity spread all around. According to some accounts, a rich man called Bhai Chand, known as Krodia, who understand crores of dams, that was the name given to the currency, the rupees at that time. He was rich. He gave the land. Other accounts said no, it was the devotion of his friend called Ajita Randhawa who gave the land of the village to Guru Nanak, and there he established a unique town. He called it, his devotees were suggesting that it should be called Nanakpura. He said no, it should be called Kartarpur. Kartar is a god, the city of God, not the city of Nanak. So that was his great vision. After Guru Nanak settled down, he called his family members to stay in the town, and then he started putting his teaching into practice in the daily life. Now, what was the practice in Kartarpur? It's a very, very interesting account. They will all get up early in the morning. After morning ablution, they'll have langar, and then they'll go and work in the field. Interestingly, Guru, even at advanced age, was doing agriculture. That he wanted to set an example that hard work is very important in the Sikh tradition. Then the question was, if we compare Guru Nanak with other bhaktas, Guru Nanak's movement became flourishing movement because Guru Nanak was wise to select a disciple as successor. Normally, you prefer your own son or daughter to succeed. Now, he had his two sons. One son was protesting. He became Udasi, a sadhu. But Guru Nanak says, no, I'll appoint a man who is fit for the job. And he consulted the Sangat because of democratic values. So, Bhai Lena was made the successor. He was given the new name of Angad. Angad means part of my body. He says there's no difference between you and me because after succession, and interestingly again, when he appointed Lena as Guru, called him Angad, Guru Nanak bowed before him with folded hands. So follower became the Guru, and the Guru became the follower. That is the democratic tradition of the Sikh Panth. Now, this Kartarpur, my friends, is different from the Kartarpur near Jalandhar. This Kartarpur is in the Narowal district of Pakistan, and we all remember when we were celebrating 550 years of the birth of Guru Nanak, Government of India, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, gave a gift to the community by building a corridor on the Ravi, whereby the devotees from Indian side of Punjab could easily visit the Kartarpur in Pakistan without any complications, and that was a great gift. And what Guru Angad did was he compiled the hymns of Guru Nanak and also prepared a biography of the Guru called Bala Janam Saki. He standardized the Gurmukhi script. You know, we have different scripts. For Hindi, we have Devanagari. For Urdu, we have Shahmukhi. For Punjabi language, the script called Gurmukhi, meaning coming out of the mouth of the Guru. Then there was a third Guru who founded a new town called Goindwal, made it headquarters for the community. An interesting event happened here. Akbar was the emperor at that time. We all know he was known as for his liberal values. He wanted to visit the Guru. It was explained to him that there's a tradition before meeting the Guru, you have to have meal, langar in the community kitchen, sitting on the floor. And the tradition says there are paintings to support this tradition that Akbar sat in the langar along with his nobles and even the servants in same line and took food before meeting the Guru. Pleased at Guru's ideals of equality, democracy, the emperor gave some land to the Guru where they built a city called Ramdaspur. He was son-in-law of the third Guru Amardas, and this later came to be known as Amritsar. That the Amrit is sanctified water, Sar is a Sarovar, the sacred water, which is now, if you visit Golden Temple, you find a temple in the midst of water, which has healing properties. Now, the Guru also established centers for propagation of the new faith. It is interesting to notice that women find equality in Guru's teachings and practice. Guru Nanak uttered a sentence, So kyo manda akhiye, jit jame rajan. Why we condemn a woman? It is through a woman that the king is born. If there was no woman, there would be no king. The highest man is given birth by a woman. Therefore, he says women are as important as men. So he established preaching centers, 22 manjis and 52 PDs. Manjis for the male, PDs, small cots for the female. This means women missionaries had bigger number than the men missionaries of the gurus. Now, this created a network. When the people learned that Guru had started a new practice of providing boli. Boli is a water tank. In those days, please imagine yourself going back 500 years ago. Clean drinking water was a problem, and in spite of our efforts, even today, clean drinking water remains an area of problem. But Gurus created facilities for clean drinking water. This gave a lot of respect to the Gurus, and people from nearby started giving donations so that more and more wells and baulis could be created by the gurus. Now, this interesting thing that the Muslim writers who didn't like the Sikhs, but Mohsin Fani, author of Dabis and Mazhab, who came and saw these Sikh religion in practice, he couldn't help appreciating the equality and democratic tradition of the Sikhs in those days, and he wrote very, very nice things about that here they have different culture, they have different behavior, and they do not believe in any caste system. They do not have any priestly class. They are not dependent on a priest for their welfare. They can say their own prayer and their script, their scripture is in their own language and script. They don't need interpretation by highly educated scholar of any other language. Now, the fourth Guru Ram Das established a formal order of preachers who were called Masands. Masands is those who sat on the provided seat, Masnad, who were full-time preachers. They collected donations from the followers in their respective area, and every year, either on Diwali near November or in Bisakhi near April, these Masans will visit the Guru and personally pass on the collection taken from the devotees for works of community welfare. This was called the Swan, that is, you contribute 1/10 of your income to the cause being promoted by the Sikh Gurus. Some of you might have visited the Golden Temple at Amritsar. You see the beauty of the Golden Temple and the message. This is a temple which has 4 doors. This means open to so-called 4 castes of India. You all know there are 4 castes. And also from all the 4 quarters of the country, east, west, north, south. So 6 temples are open to everyone, and the 4 doors indicate it's easy access to people from all corners. Now, if you visit a Gurdwara, you notice in the center is the holy scripture called Guru Granth Sahib. So when the follower enters the Gurdwara, their attention straight towards the holy scripture which is installed in the center. They do not worship any idols, do not worship a human being, and they actually do not worship Granth. Guru says, you understand the word written in the Guru. Word is the Guru, not the paraphernalia. So if you understand the word, you understand the message. And if I make a passing reference to the Guru Granth Sahib, let me mention these days we talk of interfaith, international bodies, International Association for Religious Freedom. But in those days, 1604, Guru Granth was compiled and installed in the Golden Temple. It contains hymns not only of the Gurus, but also of the saints, Bhagats, also of the Sufi Muslims, and so-called low caste and so-called high caste, because once the Granth was ready, it was installed in Golden Temple, and after the evening ceremony, it is closed with ceremonies taken to a place called Kota Sahib in Akal Takht, which just opposite the Golden Temple. It is taken for rest. Guru Arjan, who prepared the Granth, he slept on the floor and the Granth was kept on the cot. So this means Guru Arjan accepts that the highest place is that of the scripture, that of the Granth, not of the Guru himself. Guru Arjan's son and successor Hargobind started a new tradition of Miri and Piri, that is, combining spiritual with worldly things, temporal. He wore two swords, one for spirituality, other for worldly temporal affairs, and he administered justice there. Now, this led to conflict with the Mughal rulers and Mughal forces because in those days the Mughals had prohibited that only the rulers can carry a sword, only a ruler can, the king or maybe noble set, can sit on the horse, only a noble can wear a crown, a kalgi, and only the kings can build the forts. Guru Gobind Singh, he defied all these sort of restrictions and liberated the people. Now, we just finished celebrating 400 years of Guru Tegh Bahadur's birthday. A big function was arranged in the grounds of the Red Fort last year, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Shri Amit Shah, and other dignitaries paid their tribute. What had Guru Tegh Bahadur done? Great thing. He was traveling to villages in Malwa, that's near Bathinda, this area. These areas had a scarcity problem of clean drinking water. The Guru provided clean drinking water, whatever donations people gave. He says, don't give the money to me, collect the money and dig a well so that the people, inhabitants of the area, they can get clean and safe drinking water. This made Guru very, very popular, led to conversion of the Jat tribes. Now, among Sikhs, there's a tradition. Those who are Jat tribes, if the head of the tribe, he embraces your religion, the whole tribe is considered to be converted to that religion. So, whole more Malwa, that is area in Punjab, got converted to Sikhism. That really alarmed the ruler of the time called Aurangzeb. He says, and Guru gave a new slogan. He says, "Pahkaon ko detna na beh manatan." There's no need to be afraid of anyone if your conscience is clear. And also, there's no need to make others uh, to fear you. So this new slogan, equality for all, fear of none, liberated the people and created a problem for the ruling class. That is what led to the conflict and ultimately to the martyrdom of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth Guru. Now, I like to raise a small question here. What the Guru did? We think he fought, or maybe we think he sacrificed for the Kashmiri Pandits. That is correct. But also, there was a cause. Cause was that of right to wear symbols of your choice. Sikh Gurus do not believe in wearing Janeu. You all know the story. Guru Nanak, when he was asked to wear a Janeu, he said, "No, I don't want this worldly Janeu of cotton. I want a Janeu of compassion, of love." But still, Guru Tegh Bahadur says, "I do not wear." But those who wear, they were right. So I'll go and fight for the right. And thus Guru Tegh Bahadur became the pioneer in what you call religious freedom. It was in 1944 that International Body for Religious Freedom was formed. Human Rights Body was formed. In 1929 in Boston, International Association for Religious Freedom was one. But imagine 400 years before, Guru Tegh Bahadur gave this example of your right to wear symbols of your choice. It is for you to decide what you want to wear, not for the ruler or for anyone else to decide your dress, your language, or your other habits. Now, a great result came out of the sacrifice of Guru Tegh Bahadur. when he was beheaded in Chandni Chowk in New Delhi, his followers were so afraid of the Mughal rulers, they didn't have the courage to go and remove his beheaded body. It was through creating dust and other that his beheaded body was lifted by a man called Lucky Shah Banjara. If you come to Delhi near Rakabganj, near the Parliament Library, there's a big Gurdwara. This was the land of a follower of Guru Tegh Bahadur, Lucky Shah. He cremated the body with all ceremonies. Another deputy of Guru took his beheaded head to Anandpur Sahib for cremation according to established Sikh ceremonies. Now, Guru Gobind Singh really challenged the authority. How he challenged? He was young. First, he created forts near Anandpur. There are many forts. Some of them are intact, others have disappeared. That this was a challenge to the Mughal rulers that I'm going to raise army. He created army. He wore sword. He wore kalgi, sign of royalty. And then he announced by beating the drum, Nagara Bajake. Look, I've created a new just social order. And in 1699, he created the Order of the Khalsa, which I mentioned in the beginning. He baptized 5 Sikhs, gave them new symbols, and declared them as Khalsa. Now, what was the mission of the Khalsa? Guru Gobind Singh described this mission of the new found Khalsa in his autobiographical account called Bachitar Natak. And he says, Jahan geo ta dharam chalayo, kubat karante lo katayo. Wherever I go, I spread dharma. Dharma should never be taken as religion. Dharma is doing right things, performing your duties. What is consulting your conscience? And to check the evildoers, those who are doing bad things. They may belong to any religion, they have to be chastised, they have to be finished. That was the mission of the Khalsa, and we know Guru succeeded in his mission when one of his followers, Banda Singh Bahadur, he took the revenge for killing of his sons by the Fajdar of Saran, Nawab Wazir Khan, and they say in Punjabi, itna jati. He demolished all structures of authority of the Mughals. Now I like to refer to, in the given next, I think, 15 minutes or so, the formal and informal structures of authority in Sikh tradition. And these structures, interestingly, are based on democratic ideals and institutions. Now, Guru Gobind Singh died in South in a place called Nader, who call it Hazur Sahib. But he did a great thing. The great thing was, before his final journey, he declared Guru Granth Sahib as Guru Eternal. Imagine if there was a human Guru now today, there would have been confusion. Whose side the Guru will take? Now, Granth Sahib does not take anybody's side. We consult the word message of the Guru in the Granth Sahib, and there is a democratic method of consulting the Granth and resolving the crisis in the community. The taste of freedom was given to the people by a man called Banda Bahadur. He was a Bairagi, a recluse, but Guru Gobind Singh converted him to Sikh faith, baptized him, and gave him a new name, Gurbakh Singh. And he came to Punjab. Sarhand was the capital of the Mughal governor, He attacked him in the battle, he killed him, and then he created a different army and different concept. He says land belongs to those who till the land. Who's the owner? They were feudal lords. They owned the land. Poor peasants, poor people worked in the land, and all produce was taken by the feudal lord, and small amount was given to those who worked for 6 months one season. Guru Banda Bahadur says, no, land belongs to God. I mean, when you are not there, whose land was this? This was my land, not my land. So he says, those who are cultivating the land, they are the owners. And he finished all the Zimidars, he killed his forces. And interestingly, when you get Shakti, when you get drink double edged swords, Amrit, you become so powerful. All cruel Mughal governors, feudal lords, they were finished, and land was taken possession by the landless peasants. So this is what Dr. Ganda Singh, a great historian, describes. He says Banda Bahadur taught the people how to fight, how to conquer, and how to establish Khalsa Raj. My friends, I like to clarify what is Khalsa Raj. It's not the Raj by a Sikh or a Khalsa. It's a Raj. It is a rule by Khalis, the pure-hearted, honest, genuine people who do genuine things, who take command from the God Himself, not from any worldly power. That was the mission of the Khalsa. Now, two more institutions, then I'm done. Banda did one thing. He was the first sovereign, first king from the Sikh community who struck coins. Normally, when you become a king, you struck coins in your name. Banda Bahadur's coins were not in the name of Banda Bahadur or Gurbakh Singh, but they were coins in the names of Guru Nanak and Guru Gobind Singh. That is democracy. The ruler is Banda Singh Bahadur, but he doesn't say I'm the king. He says I'm a deputy of the Guru. And if you wish to listen, what was written on the coins, Sikka Zad Bar Har Do Alam, Tege Nanak Vaib Ast, Fateh Gobind Singh, Shanshah Fazle Sacha Sahib Ast. And I translated for you, by the grace of the true Lord is struck the coin in the two words. The sword of Nanak is the greater of all boons, and the victory of Guru Gobind Singh, king of the kings. So he says king is Guru Gobind Singh, not Banda Bahadur. Now, this created a very interesting situation. Banda Bahadur removed the fear among the poor peasants. They became tillers. They got more sort of food to eat. They had more money. They became powerful, fearless, and then they started creating their own empire, which resulted into creation of 12 confederacies, missiles. Now, once you are fighting, there's a competition. If you conquer the land, who gets more land? There's a dispute. So then they found a way out that it should be all entered in the files called missile. Missile is a file. This is a Persian name. And later on, they'll decide who should get what. Then, when there was a dispute, how they settled the dispute, they didn't go to any court or to any rulers. They met in a Kal Takht, consulted informal consultation. And I must emphasize the democracy of Sikh was not like the modern democracy, that is the quantitative based on majority of the votes. That was qualitative democracy. That is, who are the good people? Who are in majority? The God fearing good people. They'll evolve a consensus. So they will call a Sarbat Khalsa, that is collective assembly of the Sikhs. They met at Amritsar in Akal Takht, and then they settled their dispute in the presence of the Guru Granth Sahib. Once the word is announced, after consulting the holy book, there will be no dispute. Even if you disagree, you will not fight. That was the structure of authority that the Mitsaldas created in those times. Now, imagine you might laugh at these institutions. Jatidar of Akal Takht became so powerful because he was a very pious good man, Akali Phula Singh. He fought battles for Ranjit Singh, the Maharaja, but did not get any salary. You are powerful if you are honest, law abiding, doing your duty sincerely. So he was the Jathedar, a man called Akali Phula Singh of Akal Takht. Once you become the king, you do not follow the rules. That's the irony. Ranjit Singh, a Sikh, became the powerful ruler. He violated the Sikh traditions. He had more than one wives. He indulged in many practices which were not in keeping with the Sikhs. And he brought a dancer called Mora and made her his wife. He was called to Akal Takht by Akali Bhola Singh. Imagine the powerful king of Punjab, Ranjit Singh, and he was flogged. And recently, in recent times, serving Chief Minister of Punjab, Cabinet Minister of Punjab, interestingly during 84, even the President of India, who was a Sikh, they were all called to Akal Takht to explain their acts, which they think they were not in keeping with the democratic tradition of the Khalsa. One thing very interesting happened. My problem is that I worked on a topic for my PhD, the Gurdwara movement for reform called Akali movement. I worked for 5 years, wrote a book of 500 pages, and how do I summarize it in 3 or 4 minutes? I'll try to do it. The Akali movement for Gurdwara reform from 1920 to 25 created two powerful structures of democracy for the Sikh community. First was a party called Shiromani Akali Dal. Shiromani is the highest political body of the Sikhs. Other is Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. This was in the news recently because of Sukhbir Badal dominating this and getting his man elected as president of the SGPC. Now, these six fought for 5 years to get their shrines liberated from the Mahants. Mahants were the hereditary custodians. They were not following the Sikh practice of democracy, chastity, good values. And after they were ousted from the control of the Gurdwaras, they wanted to form a governing body called the Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, which controlled all the historic Gurdwaras. And an act was passed in 1925 called Sikh Gurdwaras and Shrines Act of 1925. Under this act, all historic Gurdwaras came under the control of the SGPC. We all know in 1947, Punjab was partitioned. Most of the historic Gurdwaras, including Nankana Sahib, where Guru Nanak was born, and Kartarpur, where he died, and I just mentioned about Kartarpur in Pakistan. And many important gurdwaras are left in Pakistan. There could not be any election because there are not many Sikhs, very few, less than a dozen of numbers. So for that, management of the gurdwaras in Pakistan, they called a Waqf board for managing a vacuum property, vacated property, left property. But here, in Indian side of Punjab, they have a Shromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. Now, this committee has a very interesting feature, which is really democratic. Imagine in 1925, when India was not free, India became free in 1947. In 1950, it became a republic. In 1925, both Sikh men and women, they got a right to vote, democratic right. Through secret ballot, they elect the management of their gurdwaras. This SGPC in Amritsar also controlled the Sikhs in Delhi because they had no act of their own. Later on, the Sikhs in Delhi, they got an act passed by the Indian Parliament in Free India. Now, in Delhi also, there are elections for the management of the historic shrines. Now, what is good and what is bad about these elections? In 1925, the values were different. The values were ethics. You won't vote for money. Now, a normal voter votes for different considerations. I can't spell them out here in the audience. So he's so used to getting some return for voting. So this malice, this evil has also entered in the election of the gurdwaras. That is the sort of bad side of the democracy of Sikhs who got the right to vote in 1925 when India was not free. I read the last sentence and finish in next 1 or 2 minutes. I think I'm on time. While the Sikhs in Delhi and Punjab have been electing management for their historic gurdwaras through adult franchise covering both men and women, a careful study shows that both the bodies have slowly and gradually moved from qualitative to quantitative. Qualitative is good people. Let there be 10 people, not under 10. Moved from qualitative to quantitative elections. That is, those who have more votes, they become the presidents of the committee. And people who, how all political parties, how, how they manage vote. So that is what has happened. And this, I think, is not in keeping with the democratic ideals and institutions started by the gurus, followed by the followers of the faith, and now slowly they need to go back and recover their historical roots and manage their gurdwaras through qualitative elections rather than quantitative elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That's a very beautiful narration about the ideals and institutions, the democratic ideals and institutions in the Sikhs, among the Sikhs, and also the Sikhism. And you have traced back to the Guru Nanak Ji, and you have narrated the various ideals and also the institutions, the Gurudwara's institution. And this reflects to understand the difference between the Western liberal democracy and the dharmic democracy. And as I said, every dharma it has its own ideals. As you mentioned in the beginning, in the opening remarks, that India is the mother of Bharat is the mother of a democracy. If you look back, just a quick recap. In the Vedic periods, the Rig Veda has clearly mentioned about, particularly the Brahmaditya has clearly mentioned about the values of republics, how to govern the local administration. Then later period also we have a lot of we can trace back to those texts and literatures. Even Mahabharata in the Shanti Parv when Bhishma was on the arrow bed and he was giving the sermon to the Yudhishthira, how to govern and various structures, the army, the elections, all have been registered and mentioned much before what we know about the democracy about Greece. There are a lot of difference between the Western democracy, particularly the Athenian democracy, which we studied. That's the origin of democracy. In the Athenian democracy, there is a restriction that women are not allowed to exercise their adult franchise, and the village people cannot participate in exercising those adult franchise. Only the nobles they were allowed to exercise their adult franchise. Coming back to what I'm from South Tamil Nadu, and we have this. You are talking about this qualitative and quantitative. That's a very interesting insights that you brought today in your lecture. Way back in 9th century, we have a place called Uttarameru, which is in the district, Eswell district of Kanchipuram. The Chola dynasty, the inscription is still there. In fact, our electoral reforms, when T.N. Seshan was the election commissioner, when he started these electoral reforms, that reforms was based on that inscriptions about the how many the election electoral process that was practiced, selecting the village level representatives using the ballot system. So the first ballot system, much before the Western countries had introduced, we can trace this origin of the ballot system in the way back in 9th century. Much before that, I'll just quick recap about in the first AD, again from the south, the Western Ghats, there is a kingdom called I Kingdom. I don't know how many of you know about. When you talk about the south, you know only Chera Chola Pandya. There is a very strong, powerful kingdom, I dynasty, which is a Yadava dynasty, which is right now today it's a Kerala and Tamil Nadu border. They had established institutions, place called Parvatipuram, where that institution now it is looks like a temple now. It used to be the election commission or where the village people are getting elected, nobles and elected. Again, sir, it is based on the qualitative way of electing the locals and so 9th century onwards we had this practice in place in we can trace back to the historical roots, and good we have today we have learned about the ideals and the institutions that you mentioned. Even Buddhism has its own, they have their very strong democratic ideals and institutions. The Sangha, it's an institution where the representatives are elected through properly elected. So the electoral system is in place even in every dharmic. Also recently I heard about in Jainism also there is a process of how decisions should be made, and it emphasizes on the pluralism and diversity and consensus building in Jainism. In a very brief, a small story, I think most of you might have heard this story about the five blind men standing in front of elephant trying to define what is that object. So one blind man was touching the trunk of the elephant and saying it is a tree. The other blind man touching the elephant's legs and saying it is a pillar. The third one, blind man, which is touching the elephant's body and saying it is a wall. So the fourth blind man holding the tail of the elephant and saying it is a rope. The last fifth blind man touching the ears and he's saying no, it is a fan. It is just waving. So the man with eye, he says, you are all right, but if you put together, compiling all your points, it is an elephant. So that's the story. The moral of the story, which is in uh, the Jainist literature, which talks about the consensus, the decision making, and there exist the multiple realities and the multiple perspectives. And once again, and thank you very much for sir for you have mentioned that you have postponed your book launch with the Honorable Minister of Education to join us, and it is really heartening to learn about that. And thank you very much. We are so indebted to you, sir, for joining us today. With these remarks, I now request. So, would you like to take some questions? 5 minutes, few questions. So please unmute yourself, sir. Yeah. So would you like to take some questions, sir, from the audience?
Sure. No problem.
No problem. So now the floor is open, and we'll limit because due to the time constraint, we'll limit to 3 or 4 questions. And be brief with your questions and comments. Anyone from the audience have any questions? Yes, yeah.
Hi. Am I audible?
Yeah, it is.
Uh, Thank you very much for such enlightening lecture, sir. Sir, just comprising whole 5 long centuries history within just 1 hour. It was such a tremendous job which you did. Sir, I'm very much curious to know that while considering the value system within the Sikhs, which you mentioned that within the Sikh institution, the democratic values, and while considering the contemporary outward flow of the Sikhs to the Deras and Mahants, from the which all these Sikh gurdwaras and institutions were just brought back to a democratic frame. Now, how you consider this outward movement within this democratic institutional frame of the religion itself, and particularly with the caste angle? So, is it just like that democratic values is fading over the time within just these 5 centuries, and how you just respond to this? Thank you.
So we'll collect one more question, sir. Then we'll go for the any questions. Yeah, that's final, sir. Yeah, over to you.
To my mind, nothing is wrong with the basics. What has gone wrong is with the implementation. Now, we used to have people with moral authority. I remember Sir Swaran Singh, India's foreign minister. He was after retirement. He became chairman of our institute. There was a dispute. So somebody managed to bring a lot of members. He asked a simple question. He says, if in the train there are 5 people, 3 people without ticket, 2 people with ticket, who will be in majority? The 2 people carrying valid tickets, they will be majority. So now problem is in Gurdwara election, people who are genuine, who practice the values, only they should be allowed to vote. So I think we need a Renaissance movement. The Sikh community, all communities, just because of increasing their values. If you buy normal votes, here also you buy normal votes. So it's for you, professor, and me and others to create awareness so that in practice we do not follow this electoral quantitative method. We shift to qualitative method. And this is what is worrying me now is that our SGPC is not doing its job. That is why there are more and more deras in Punjab. And caste, rather than being finished, it's increasing. Caste division is increasing, which is not in keeping with the teachings of the gurus. So gurus taught us to transcend boundaries, to work for a casteless society. But now again, a vote bank. These Dera people, they have vote banks. So poor people are not being helped by the Sikh leadership. They go to the Babas and those who are owning Deras. I agree with you. We need a reform within the society. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you very much. With this remarks, may I now request our registrar, Dr. Yashwant Singh, for his remarks. Okay.
Esteemed Speaker Dr. Mohinder Singh ji, Dr. Jagannathan, Head NSS, Dr. Ranveer Singh ji, and Dr. Archana Kumari ma'am, other faculty members, staff members, research scholars, and my dear students. Good afternoon, one and all present over here. On behalf of the Central University of Jammu, on behalf of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjeev Jain ji, I take it great pride to welcome and pay gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Mohinder Singh ji. Thank you, sir, accepting our request and delivering such a nice talk, explaining the Sikh history and its contribution toward democracy, Loktantra, or Khalsa Raj. As you mentioned, this program is part of the larger program, India, Mother of all democracy, Bharat, Loktantra ki Janani. Democratic values are deeply rooted in history of India even before the French Revolution. Few things I just want to mention over here. A distinction needs to be drawn between Prajatantra, Jantantra, and Loktantra. Prajatantra is a translation of political system known as democracy, and Jantantra is people versus the rulers oriented system. And Loktantra is a community system oriented toward the welfare of the community. There are three dimensions of people's polity, a system of governance polity referred as that limits on the rulers, accountability of the rulers, and the people's direct or indirect participation in governance, their rights of the self-governance. In India, from the Vedic times itself, two kinds of states, Janpad and Rajya, have been in existence. Democratic system in Bharat has evolved over the ages. There are ample that archaeological, literary, numismatic, bhakti evidences which emphasis on the Loktantric traditions of Bharat. Another key difference that separate Bharat from other ancient civilization is there was no concentration on the prestige of birth, influence of wealth, and political office, which made social organization autocratic and aristocratic. There was no aristocracy in India's like, say, in Greece. The Hindu state rarely presented that high degree of centralization associated with the Roman Empire. India is great surprise of the world with all its multiple plurality. Is today is the world largest successful working democracy because Indian people infused with the spirit of equality have had since the very Vedic times a Loktantric parampara. Thank you, sir, for explaining the Khalsa Raj, and I also congratulate Dr. J. Jagannathan for organizing this lecture. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity for us to coordinate this very interesting lecture and also an opportunity to get in touch with the very erudite scholar, Dr. Mohinder Singh, sir, from Delhi. And now I request Dr. Archana Kumari for a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jagan. Very good afternoon to all of you. And I take this opportunity to thank everyone who is present here in this August gathering for making this program a great success. And before that, I must thank the lecturer and the speaker of this today's special session, Mr. Dr. Mohinder Singh, who spoke and narrated this whole story and the events through couplets, through storytelling method, which made it interesting as well as very, very enriching for all of us. And we learned a lot about the democratic values which are inherent in Sikhism, and not only in Sikhism, in all the religion, I feel, and just like Dr. Jagan said, that we are practicing democracy through our dharmic institutions. So very, very thankful, we are very much thankful to you, sir, that you spared such a great time and you spent this time and all your learnings with all of us, shared it with all of us. Then I will be very much thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjeev Jain sir, under whom guidance and patronage we have organized this program. And he is always keeping us encouraged to organize such kind of programs. So I am very much thankful to Professor Sanjeev Jain sir for organizing and helping this helping us in organizing this UGC special lecture. I am very much thankful to our registrar, Professor Yaswant sir, who has presided over this session, and he has given his small presidential remark also, which is very much fruitful and very much impactful for all of us. I am very much thankful to Dr. J. Jagannathan, head NSS department, who has organized very actively this lecture and involved all of the students as well as the faculty members in this enriching lecture. And I am very much thankful to Dr. Ranveer Singh, who has introduced today's esteemed guest and speaker of the session, Dr. Mohinder Singh. All the faculty members, heads and deans who are present here and whose gracious presence made this occasion really successful. I'm very much thankful on behalf of the organizing committee as well as the university that you made this program a success. And last but not the least, the students who are very much involved and who learned a lot through this lecture. I'm very much thankful to them, all the supporting staff and the technical members of this organizing team. We are really grateful that you did a good job, and thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time with all of us. And thank you very much, everyone, in this August gathering. Thank you.